All right, welcome to the Coach's Sons podcast. My name is Chris, and if you're hearing a different voice, you would know that already because Andrew is not with us today. However, we are joined by Coach Erik Bakich of the Clemson Tigers. Coach, thank you for joining us today.
Hey, happy to be here. Thanks, Chris, for having me, and appreciate being on the Coaches and Sons podcast.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get started with this question, and our listeners will kind of know this is where we stand thus far. I told you beforehand that we do mostly Major League Baseball. We haven't completely gotten into or immersed ourselves into the college game. So I figure there's no one else better to get me into college baseball than you. So I really want like your elevator pitch on why I should be more consumed by college baseball, more ingrained in the game, and why it is better, or maybe you say it's worse, but I doubt it, but why it's better than Major League Baseball and why I should spend my time there instead of MLB.
Sure. Well, it just depends on your preference. I mean, the
Okay.
MLB is like the Navy SEALs of baseball,
Okay.
and at least from a coaching standpoint, I like this level because you're still molding and shaping the person and still helping these guys become who they're going to be as men and as future husbands and fathers and just community leaders. At the major league level, I think it's just, more tactical. The coaching is more tactical of, what's the information that's going to help them perform the best, be the best, have the best, you know, strategy to have success. So I personally love the college game just because of the growth of the person, as well as, of course, their successful baseball abilities. But I love seeing the growth of the person, and I think from a fan's perspective, they get to see that maturation as well. They see that development over these critical 3 to 4 years. These kids are here, and the difference is you go to Truist Park. It's an unbelievable environment. I mean, what's better than the Battery behind Truist Park? We're trying to do something like that here with the ultimate entertainment zone. But the kids aren't running the bases on the field after the games and hanging out with the players and high-fiving the players in front of the dugout. And the kids at our games are. They come on the field, they stand on the field for the anthem. We bring them onto the field during, promotional events to each inning, doing whatever stretch group with the team, and then after the game they're literally jumping the fence and they're hanging out with us on the field and getting autographs signed, running the bases, doing all the things. So it's just a different type of environment, different type of atmosphere. But when you roll all of it in together, um, I love college sports in general, but certainly love the developmental aspect and the connection to the fan aspect of it. That's just unique here at Clemson, but unique as well in college baseball and college sports.
And I would just tend to agree with you there. I went to the one South Carolina game in Greenville, and then I've been to the opener of the Notre Dame series at Clemson. And you could just tell, just based on what you said, just a very sense of community, right? Everybody's, there to just cheer on Clemson, even if you're on, an opposing fan or whatever. Like you said, you could see I've seen you take some pictures, sign some autographs, all of that. The team is very friendly to the fan. So I think, you're embracing that community as a whole, and that's a big part. So I'm going to start this by talking about you, but it's ultimately going to kind of roll into the players. So on social media, I feel you guys have embraced that by a tenfold. And I don't know if I'm in my own echo chamber, if it's just the Clemson thing, but I feel like I see you and your team all over the place, right? From the Savannah Bananas partnership to, Cam and Aiden Knock, and it just your whole team is doing stuff. And not only are they doing stuff on their own, but you're tied to it in a way that you're embracing it. You're reposting their stuff. You want their names out there as well. So like how much, I think it's great that you're doing that, but where does that I'm trying to think of the right way to phrase that. How much does that mean to the team as a whole in season? Obviously that feels like a big pitch in recruiting, but in terms of your day to day, how much is that received by the team and noticed where it's like, wow, like he really supports what I'm doing here, not just on the field and as development, but off the field and my opportunities elsewhere.
Yeah, well, you just answered the question, the opportunities component of it. So this has been a this is it's going to be a long-winded answer, but the
I'll
very
take it.
short answer is because it affects the money our players can make. The
Yep.
long version of it is, I got off of social media. I was anti everything. I canceled all my accounts in 2020 when the every time I got on social media after COVID, I would just get pissed off. Like all the narrative and the rhetoric and the it was just like I just completely disagreed with a lot of the things I heard on social media. It didn't bring me any joy. And I said, to hell with this. And I got off for 4 years. So from 2020 until November of 2024, I was
Okay.
off of social media. And then in November of 2024, I said, you know what? I'm going to get back on. And it just so happened we played the Savannah Bananas, um, right in the early part, right around the election.
Yep.
And I saw firsthand how the Savannah Bananas players had captured the energy and the enthusiasm of fans and baseball and whatever, and how they had also used their influence to create a lot of affiliate marketing deals for themselves and how they were able to monetize. And I learned that some of them make even more money in endorsement deals because of their influence beyond their salary for playing for the Savannah Bananas. And it was just like, oh my God, what, you know, yes, this is it. So now fast forward to where we are today, April 8th, and we're 2 months and 22 days away from the world shifting again and NIL deals becoming commercially driven. And so since November of 2024, it's been a bit of a mindset shift, but a kind of an all-in mindset of we need to be as influential as we possibly can on social media. We need to have our followings as big as they can. Our players need to be active participants in this space because when on July 1, when NIL moves to the original intent of NIL, not necessarily collectives and rev share, but if they're going to get outside deals, it's going to be commercially driven deals where businesses, if I'm a business owner and I want to hire a college athlete to help sell my stuff, well, yeah, I mean, I could just gravitate towards the All-American quarterback, sure. But also look at this group of guys over here, the Clemson baseball team. They're different. They're unique. They have like literally built a brand on having as much fun playing baseball as they possibly can. And I want to hire those guys and I want them to help promote my product because, I want to connect with the consumer and the, whatever. And so a lot of it's been that. And so our guys have really got behind it. I've got behind it. Brian Hennessy, who's on this call, has got behind it. And, we've all been as creative as we possibly could be. The getting inspired from the Savannah Bananas, getting inspired from Absolutely Ridiculous, who's the hat I'm wearing right now. People who have these innovative, creative genius, in the DNA and foundation of their organizations and their companies. And we've just gravitated to those people, and we've really kind of built something unique and different here. At least over the last 4 or 5 months, and it's translating on the field. Our guys are having a lot of fun playing baseball, and we're getting their best playground mentality because of it. But ultimately, the desire is to help our guys monetize, weaponize their creative brands, their creativity, to get these affiliate marketing deals post July 1 and create as much value for themselves individually as they possibly can so that someday we can say the same thing, that our team makes more money in these endorsement deals that they have with this commercially driven NIL sponsorships than they do in rev share and than they do in the value of their scholarship.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are doing a heck of a job. Like I said, I've seen you everywhere, from you to the team, and it has to be playing a part why you guys are the fourth ranked team in the country. You guys look loose, you look like you're having fun, and it seems like that's the culture you wanted to bring, and you very well brought it. So I have a it's maybe a negative type of question on that. So you're having all this fun, you're doing all this on NAL stuff, and you're having great success. And I don't want to make this seem like it's a negative question, but I'm curious how you might approach it. Hypothetically speaking, let's say your team starts struggling. I feel though as though that the outside world will say, "Oh, they're just messing around. They're doing all this NIL stuff. They're not focused." So like hypothetically, if the team went on like a little skid, how do we get everybody back on track? Or is it just keep doing what we're doing and this process is going to work no matter what?
Yeah, I mean, you anytime you have a rival, so we have South Carolina, and it doesn't, we're going to get the trolls and the hate and the negative comments regardless,
Mm-hmm.
whether we, sweep them or whatever. We sweep them, but we still haven't won a national championship, right? So like, it's so I think there's always going to be negativity no matter how good or bad you're doing. But we certainly put ourselves out there for any of that negative criticism of how we could, look at all this stuff we're doing on social media. And but we know, and everyone else deep down knows, that has it's not a distraction. It's only amplifying what we're doing, all the good that we're doing, all the good we're doing in the community, all the good we're doing off the field, as well as all the good that we're doing on the field. Um, so I don't worry about that. In fact, part of me getting back on social media is truly not caring what the negative comments are, because
Okay.
the negative comments are going to be there regardless. And so it's a choice to, if you choose to listen to those and have it affect you. And I think our players are doing a good job. I mean, they put themselves out. Any high level, tippy top 1% of college sports, no matter the sport you play, when you're at the tippy top of your sport, there's always going to be negativity, and that's okay. And that's, you sign up for it. You're on the biggest stage, you're playing under the brightest lights, the stakes are the highest. Doesn't matter if you're on social media or not on social media. You're subjected to any type of criticism, fair or unfair. So um, I think it's a choice to whether you're impacted by that internally or not. We just choose not to be. We're going to keep doing what we feel like is our formula, our process, what makes us good. And for us to channel the best team that we can be, we got to play like those 10-year-old little leaguers they used to be, with the smile on their face. And that's how we're going to be good. And that's how we are good. We're playing with a lot of smiles out there. We're playing loose.
Should be.
We're playing like we want to clinch something, not like we're going to clench something. And so we
Ooh,
talk
I
about
like
that, the
that.
difference between clinch and clench all the time.
We want to
Um,
clinch, not clench. I like that. So I think I could even like just personally, I could take something away from this in the way of, I'm on social media and, they call it doom scrolling, right? You see something negative and all of a sudden you find yourself in this abyss of negativity. And I think, you know, from your growth of saying, I'm off of this in 2020 to now being like, you know what, I'm just going to ignore what I don't like and and continue on with what I like and keep doing, trusting the process that I have and in my personal opinions. And I think that's a great move. And again, everything you're saying is showing with your team and on the field. So it's not like I could even combat you and be like, hey, you're blowing smoke, because that's certainly not the case. I
and
will
I
go
think
ahead.
if you're convicted as well, if you have a high belief system in something and convicted in it, then, and it's been a proven formula, then even when you do have the inevitable gut punch, or whatever the case may be, adversity that strikes, it's it's not going to affect you. In fact, it's how you frame stress, and we frame stress as it's a good thing. And so any negative, any adversity, anything that's could be perceived as negative, we look at as a bad thing. We look at it as a good thing. It's going to help us be better. So um, yeah, it's what we do, and we feel good about how we're doing it.
So I'm gonna piggyback off your clinch first clench. This team we're the fourth ranked team in the country as we speak today. Everything seems to be rolling. Clearly, from a coaching perspective, I'm sure there are some things you could nitpick at that you could do better, do worse. you've been to the dance, right? You were runner up College World Series at Michigan. You've been to regionals, super regionals. What compare this team to some of those teams? Does this team have everything in its arsenal to make that push, to get that trophy, to shut up everybody from the University of South Carolina? So when we sweep them, we say we have that trophy, right? Give me the pitch that this team should be there, deserves to be there, and will be there until the end this year.
Well, a lot of teams have the ability to be there. I mean, it's talent is certainly needed and can take you so far, but when you get down to where these games that are decided in the postseason, where everyone's good, everyone's hot, and the margin for winning and losing is so small, it comes down to sometimes just one pitch or one swing or one play. A lot of times it's the things you can't control, the quote luck of the game, a bounce here, a bounce there, a call here, a call there, the wind blowing in or blowing out, whatever. Like it's the way it is. But it's usually people, the reason for not going, not making it, not winning that last game, has nothing to do with the physical talent because everybody's good.
Okay.
And once you get to that level, there are the guys that have been, handpicked by God as like you're a genetic freak and you're an unbelievable base. There are those, sure. But usually it's everybody's really good. Everybody's got good pitching. Everyone's got good players. Everyone's got whatever. But it's going to be all those other things. And so I think I know our mindset is we want to earn the opportunity to get hot when it means the most, which is why we put such a target on all the little things from day one, August, first team meeting. And then once you start down this path of there are no little things and it takes what it takes. And there's no finish line once you start on that path of we have to get better every day in order to earn the opportunity to get hot at the end and get those breaks and get those bounces and get those calls and have the wind blowing in our favor, whether we're pitching or hitting or whatever. It's just kind of believe in that, as silly as it sounds. But it's one of the drivers of why we are so focused on being committed to getting better every day because we just want to earn the opportunity to get hot at the end because that a lot of times is the difference. Our 2019 Michigan team that played for a national championship, we weren't physically more talented than some of the teams we beat. We just got hot when it meant the most. And another reason why I love coaching at this level is when you get 18 to 22, 24-year-olds that have confidence and feel hot, they are invincible. And it's that feeling of there's no way we're walking off this field without winning the game. It's an incredible feeling when you capture it and when you get it. So you're constantly chasing it because you're constantly chasing those celebratory moments at the end.
I'm almost speechless because I think you're hitting the nail on the head. You guys aren't out ahead of your skis, right? You're the fourth ranked team in the country, and you're acting as though you're middle of the road. You're going to struggle to make the tourney, right? Like so, you guys embody everything that you're saying. I can't stress that enough. So I just think it's going to be a great end of the season for you. There's about what I think I counted 21 games left. So there's still a good bit of season left, but I definitely like where things are headed, and I hope you would too. Um, Maybe a little less, you know, serious questions at this point. We'll start with this one. So next year, again, getting antiquated with college baseball, you will have, my understanding, 34 full scholarships to give, as opposed to what you guys have now, about 12. And I think that'll dwindle down the number of roster spots you have, if I'm not mistaken. But how do you expect that to change the landscape of college baseball, if at all? Um, and will you guys have a leg up because now you get to offer the scholarship, plus you're already ahead of this, the NIL type of thing?
Yeah, I mean, that a lot has to happen for that to happen, right? And the
Okay.
biggest thing, so the Judge Wilkin in California heard the House case yesterday, and there's some new things that were introduced yesterday,
Okay.
April 7th. She said that maybe we should look at the NCAA, the NCAA should look at grandfathering in these roster changes. Maybe there should be not as big of a roster cut right away. So I don't even
Okay.
know how to answer the question because I don't
That's
know
fine.
what the ruling's going to be. I think we could be at 34 players next year, which would be a 15% roster cut, which across all of Division One baseball would be 1,800 new players going into the transfer portal that aren't already expecting to be in there.
Yeah.
Um, but I also don't know. They may say, you know what? I don't know. I don't know what I don't know.
That's okay. That's
And
fair. I didn't realize it was still evolving. I thought that the 34 was specific, but as I should have known with the NCAA, nothing is concrete. That is for certain. Uh,
yeah, I think all of us as coaches are still kind of holding our breath, waiting to get the final verdict. And until that final verdict comes in, I don't know if we can maybe plan and prepare and have an idea, but I think we're all anticipating scrambling a little bit and maybe having to call some audibles to figure it out. But the positive is that it definitely sounds like scholarships are going up regardless.
mhm.
And for a sport historically that has been synonymous with taking out student loan debt, that's a huge win. But on the flip side, there's going to be the elimination of roster spots. So roster spots go down, which means the competitiveness to get one of those roster spots goes up, which makes it a whole lot harder for the high school kid that maybe is the late bloomer, the guy that's gotten the roster spot as kind of the wait and see, high ceiling, projectable kind of guy. Maybe those roster spots at the tippy top of college baseball are less frequent because with the transfer portal alive and well, coaches like me and us gravitate to the credentialed, proven Division One guy with Division One numbers that is a plug and go. We know what
Yep.
he's done, so we can project what he's going to do. Versus an 18-year-old kid who's coming in and has never played a pitch of college baseball. So we still want to build our roster with the high school kid. We prefer to have the 3 and 4 year relationship with the high school player.
Yeah.
But I think all of Division One baseball has seen a shift into just the roster construction and naturally gravitating to some older players. The age of college baseball has gotten older, the average age. And I think what we're going to see is the average freshman is also going to get older. And whether high school kids elect to go to junior college or some type of a post grad year, an academy year, something like that, there's just going to be less roster spots, which means there's going to be more competition. And when you're not just going against other high school seniors, but you're going against,
Yeah.
freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors, grad transfers of college kids, it's going to be tough. So I guess we'll see. We'll see what the final roster is going to be and how that's going to impact everyone. But, um, I know that we will do whatever it takes to continue to be competitive at the tippy top of college baseball because we are addicted to that feeling of
Yeah.
going to Omaha and playing. I certainly can speak from experience, having tasted it in 2019. We were there for 15 days. It's like Crash Davis on the bus talking about the 15 greatest days of his life when he was in the show. He hit white balls for batting practice, right? Like Omaha was like that. It was 15
Okay.
days in Omaha playing for a national championship. We played on the final day of college baseball. And I mean, even though we didn't win it, lost to Vanderbilt at Michigan, it was like every single decision we make is how can we get back here every year and
Yep.
have everyone experience this because this is the greatest feeling in the world to be at the pinnacle of college baseball. And and then how can you just be one game better so you can win it?
All right. Oh, it's Omaha or bust is what I heard. No, I'm joking. It
Well, at this level, it is.
yeah.
We're okay with that. We know that we will be judged based on how far
Okay.
we go. We're off to a decent start, but who cares? The only thing we'll be judged on is, did we beat South Carolina and how far do we play in June? And those are good barometers for us. And that's what you sign up for when you play at this type of level. And there's not many schools that can say that, but there are a dozen, 2 dozen that's how they feel and that's how their fan bases are. And that going in, and it's a great feeling to be a part of something like that where everyone is so passionate about the success of the program.
I love that attitude as a whole. One I saw something in the game notes. You guys have been hit 65 times. You have 65 hit by pitches in 32 games this year. Is that a strategy or is that just happen? Are you guys practicing that? I know in high school I used to take some softball pitches off the arm and something to practice, but are you guys actively practicing that, or is that too far outlawed since with the newer rules of being in the batter's box and all that stuff?
Dominic Listy has 60 of those, so not the whole team. It's just Dom Listy has get out of the way of anything. The guy is fearless up there. No, but Jaron Purify and Dominic Listy have 25 hit by pitches between them. So, a good chunk of those, almost 40% of those or whatever that math is the guys hitting at the top of the order. And so they know their role of setting the table and getting on base, whatever it takes. I mean, obviously, if it's coming at your head, they're getting out of the way,
Yeah.
but a lot of those are just backed up breaking balls that, they just hold their ground and
Yep.
take by pitch. And nowadays, everyone's got their Iron Man suits on and all the protective stuff. So it's less of a risk nowadays with all the protective gear that they've got versus back in the day, when we played. But yeah, I mean, we prioritize having more walks and hit by pitches than strikeouts. So
Okay.
we have 308, if I'm looking at our stats right. We have 308 total walks and hit by pitches
Oh,
compared to 301 strikeouts. So we're
okay.
doing a good job of that, and our team on base percentage is over 420. So we're doing a good job as a team of getting on base, and that's what the priority is. If we want to be a run scoring offense, which is what we want to be, then we got to get guys on base, and then we got to knock them in. But
It,
so far, so good. We're scoring a good bit of runs, but we got guys who are bought into getting on base.
yeah, it's the Moneyball scene, right? What do? They get on base, right? It's simple as that. When it boils down, there's a billion other inputs into that, but at the end of the day, it's did you get on base or not? And that 42% clip, that's pretty good overall.
That's
Uh,
great.
I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up. And I'm stunned I waited this long to do it. How did you get beer sales going? Because I feel like you were a strong component of getting this going at Clemson. Maybe you weren't as much, but I want the inside info because I feel like that area that you built out, your vision at the beginning of the season of, hey, we're going to move this bullpen onto the field. We're going to get rowdy. And now we have, a little area that we could have some, alcohol included. I think it's going to create a great environment, but I feel like you were on the forefront of this and then they almost had to let football get it before you. If you don't want to speak to football getting it before you, that's fine. But I figured from an outsider perspective, that's what it seemed like.
Yeah, no. So the honest answer is I had nothing to do with alcohol sales. That's
Okay.
been in the mix for since probably before I even got here. And that's you've got a board of trustees, you've got President Clements, and you've got Graham Neff, and they are very aligned. And how
Okay.
do we keep the values, the family values of Clemson, while simultaneously parallel line moving into this new world of, there's going to be a lot more expenses associated with college athletics, specifically paying the players, right? And so creating these new revenue streams, we were only one of three schools in the nation, us, BYU, and I think Utah, um, to not sell or sponsor alcohol at their sporting events. So it was already like way already time to position ourselves to create this revenue stream. And um, so it's already been in the works. And then when we, obviously the coaches are hearing this, and Graham's awesome about keeping us updated with, all the strategy of and the moving parts of not just changing landscape globally with college athletics, but how we Clemson are going to position ourselves moving forward. So we knew it was not a question of if, but when. And so we also knew that there was a really good chance it was happening this season. So we just happened to have an area tactically, strategically, right next to the visiting team bullpen or
It's
visiting team dugout that was the biggest, greatest, most amazing visiting team bullpen area in the history of college baseball. I mean, these guys had enough room. They could have had massage tables and yoga mats. And,
it was huge.
I mean, it was like a resort over there. And we're like, what kind of home field advantage is this? Like the
Yes.
visiting team bullpen is nicer than the home team bullpen. This is crazy. So we said, you know what, we're gonna weaponize that space, make that for our fans, not for the opposing team. That's a great standing room only area.
Hmm.
That's a great place to, to watch a game and be close to the action. Let's move the bullpen onto the foul territory of the playing field. Um, and we can really create that 10th man atmosphere over there. And so it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. It's been the perfect spot. So we got lucky with two things. One, the administration and from board of trustees down, we're already planning on implementing this, just didn't know when. And two, we had the real estate to make it happen quick. And
Yeah.
so, I didn't have anything to do with that. We all, kind of just said, hey, I think we got a great spot here to make this happen. And fortunately, the administration said, yeah, we do. Let's do it. That sounds like a great idea. So we had a few facility upgrades in the off season, not just that, but turf in all the foul area, extending the foul netting to protect all those fans in that new standing room only area. And so it's been really cool. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing the what's more American than having a hot dog and a beer at a baseball game?
Nothing. There's nothing.
What's more American than that? So to be able to say that we've got one of the venues that now is, we're the only SEC, we're the only ACC or SEC college baseball program to not have it. And now we do. And so I'm excited for our fans and I'm excited for our atmosphere, that maybe it'll attract more people to our games to know that, hey, our total concession offering is getting better. It's not just hot dogs and
Hmm.
popcorn. We can start to move into, that's what I'm always looking for. Like I mentioned, how can we create the battery at Truist Park? What are the things we can do to make people want to come to a Clemson baseball game, not just because of the baseball between the white lines, but all the other things happening outside the white lines. And this is a big step towards that.
I agree, and I think it's going to be a big draw. I love the stadium. I love the atmosphere in and of itself. It's a great place to catch a ball game. So if anybody is in the Clemson area, definitely go check them out. You won't get beat over the head for tickets either. That's something we could have even mentioned at the very beginning of why college baseball. It's so much less expensive to go catch one of your games as opposed to, like you said, going down to the Battery in Atlanta. I also love your comparison of trying to not necessarily recreate step by step, but in your head the Battery in Atlanta. I think that's the ultimate fan experience prior to the game. And I think, while you're on campus, you can't build the entire thing. Having that, area in game is one of the best things that could happen. Uh let's see. I don't really have many other questions. I do have one though. Uh your our third baseman Pano, is it pronounced Pano?
Mm-hmm.
I think his nickname is, if it isn't already, needs to be Captain in Pano. I have been
Yeah.
dying to catch a live home run or like right when it happens and just tweet Captain in Pano shows no mercy. And I've just been dying to do it. I haven't done it yet, but the minute I saw the name, I was like, this has to be it. So I don't know what his nickname is as we speak, but float that out there. Let me know if it sticks. Okay.
Okay, I'll mention to him that he's got a new nickname now. We'll see.
uh, with that said, again, I want to thank you so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure. I will definitely be at another game or two throughout the rest of the season. I expect to be sitting next to you on the plane/bus to Omaha, so I'll let you know when. I'll give you my information to have that out there. No, but is there anything you need to say? Anything out there? A call to arms? Anything you'd like to say before we part ways?
Just every time I get a microphone in front of my face, I just implore the Clemson fans to follow our team on social media. Uh, no matter where you are, if you've got an account on some platform, and so do our players, I can guarantee it, follow them. The more followers they can get, the more influence they have, the more opportunities for affiliate marketing deals and monetization for them when NIL becomes commercially driven starting July 1st. So follow our team.
That's it. You heard it first, right from the man of your fourth ranked Clemson Tigers. This is Coach Erik Bakich, excuse me. For everything that we said, my name is Chris. This is the Coach's Sons podcast. Thank you all for listening. Take care.